for female veterans, would you like to share any particular perspective on your experience as a woman in the military?
For me, I didn't really notice much of a difference. I mean, obviously, I don't know what my male counterparts experienced exactly, but because of my job, which was basically like a techie, I was redoing circuit cards and rewiring and making new cables and things like that, which was pretty awesome. I didn't really notice much of a difference. I feel like I just pulled my weight, and all of my buddies were happy to have me there, and vice versa. I didn't really notice a difference, you know? I know for some people they did, you know, but I think it has a lot to do with what job you're doing and, like, your actual work. I was surrounded by all guys, so.
Yeah, and I think also it has to do, like, within the branch. Like, you know, you were in the Army, right? Like,
Yeah.
In the Marine Corps, for us, at least we felt like, since we were females, we were treated differently. Like, we had to prove ourselves because they thought less of us. Because, like, oh, you know, you're a female, you can't do this, you can't do that. And then, no, we can do it. So, I guess, yeah, it depends on your job, and I guess it depends on the branch, too.
Quite possible.
Yeah.
The next question will be around immigration. How do you feel about immigrants fighting for your country by your side?
I'll be the first to say my family actually came from a foreign country. I was 2 years old when I got here. I wasn't born here. I got my citizenship. I was an immigrant, and I'm pretty sure it didn't matter. I'm pretty sure my battle buddies did not care as long as I was right there with them. So I definitely don't mind as long as you're there to do the work, keep your head down, get the job done. Nobody cares.
My perspective, yeah, I was, you know, an immigrant. I born in Nicaragua and then leaving a civil war. My parents did. So I kind of got the first-hand experience of like, shit, I can actually die. I'm not even a citizen. And so that definitely like being a non-citizen and actually being in a war zone puts things in perspective in a lot of ways. I think the best, not to get, you know, off topic, but the best citizens are like are people who weren't citizens at first, because they really know, what it is, what it is to like not have the ability to vote. I remember being in Iraq, and this is in 2008, so everything was happening. I could only keep up with the news so much, but I just remember hearing the recession's going crazy, and 2007, well, 2007? Yeah, 2008, and then the election happening, and I'm like, I can't even vote before I left. So even if I wanted to vote, you know, like having my say in the presidential election, I couldn't do it. So that was kind of like a very interesting dynamic where I'm doing something that I can literally lose my life, but yet not participate in the essential things that make one a citizen, which is to vote. So it's definitely, going back to the question, like, yeah, what she said, if you can do the job, you can do the job, but it's a very unique experience to have that. So make you a stronger person, I guess you could say also.
Anyone else?
I don't know. I don't have first-hand experience, but I could say that my entire career when I was in, I worked with a lot of the Army and the Navy as well. Like it never even came up. It wasn't a question about your immigration status. Nobody cared. When we deployed, we were just part of a unit. So these are your brothers and sisters that you're working with, and it didn't matter where you came from, what you were doing before you joined, your citizen status, it didn't matter. And I can't remember a time when anybody even asked the question.
I did have friends that were from different countries who didn't have legal status, but I was more interested on their journey to get into the military, and also whether or not the military promised them anything afterwards. Like Miguel was saying, like, and now it's not even guaranteed that if you fight for your country, you get automatic citizenship or anything like that. So, I mean, if you die over there, you just kind of just die. And it sucks, right? You know?
Yeah.
It's a stark reality.
But yeah, it wasn't something that ever separate any of us. I mean, we all went through the same boot camp. We all did the same things to get where we were at. That made us brothers and sisters even more than our citizenship or what city we were from or state or anything like that.
Okay. How does pop culture shape how civilians think about veterans? That's part one. What, if any, pop culture movies or TV shows has accurately portrayed what a military lifestyle is, or at least displayed accurate military culture? And what is your favorite movie, song, and poetry? So it's a three-part question. Would you like me to repeat it? Okay.
I would say for accuracy, I really like the series Generation Kill,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
it's based on a book by a Rolling Stone author who covered the first recon battalion, it was a bunch of Marines. So basically it covers their story during the invasion, but it gives you a really interesting perspective of the millennial veteran or our age demographic, so to say. It's not the Vietnam culture, it's not World War II culture, you know, it's just like, you know, playing video games and like fucking off, whatever it is. So it gives you really good perspective of that, but also gives you the perspectives of the military and the lingo and the culture and the, you know, dark humor that comes with it.
Yeah.
So that's a really good perspective. Yeah, I can't watch certain movies because I just nitpick at shit. So there's a lot of inaccuracies. But, you know, yeah, if you want to see something that's portrays, especially the early years, especially the Marine Corps, yeah, Generation Kill.
I second that. Generation Kill is an awesome miniseries. I wasn't a Marine, but I still thought, you know, that's just our culture as a whole, you know. But as far as favorite movie, that has nothing to do with accuracy whatsoever, it's Major Payne.
Anyone else?
There's a movie that I always watch around Veterans Day. It's called Taking Chance. It was made directly for HBO. It's got Kevin Bacon in it, but it's like an accurate portrayal of what happens when, in this case, a Marine dies and his body is taken back to his hometown. So it goes through the entire process where his body is prepared for travel and all the stops along the way and all the things that happen to it along the way. And it ends with the military funeral and everything like that. It's super powerful and, as far as I can tell, very, very accurate.
Chance Phelps, who was also
Chance Phelps was a real-life Marine that his life was taken in Afghanistan?
Iraq.
Iraq? Yeah.
Anyone else?
I don't know how pop culture. I'm not keeping up with the pop culture times. You do see it a lot, though. You see a lot of like, ooh, special forces guys and all this stuff. They really just embellish it. Most of the military is not like that. There's a lot of logistics that goes behind it. A lot of hurry up and wait kind of thing. So don't believe the hype when it's just like, oh, these guys are jumping out of helicopters all the time. Like, no, it's not like that at all.
I mean, there's a lot of the non-sexy side of the military, like you're saying, the hurricane and wait, like, you know, you see that dirt, go rake it. You know, make it look pretty. So you have to make lines in it or whatever, or like, so there's a lot of redundancy, there's a lot of stuff, and there's also like the cool stuff, you know, but for sure, like you just go on TV and everyone's a special forces person, everyone's a Navy SEAL or some Navy SEAL dropped a book or something like that. That exists, but it's very rare. The more common experience is going to be like, yeah, you show up to work, you do your job, and you go home. And then there's always like the stupid games that you have to play sometimes in the military.
Yeah, that's the thing for my job, especially besides the 6 months that I was even the 6 months that I was in country, I was going into an office and working on a computer 8 to 5 every day, you know, so like I by no means like those commercials you see for the Marine Corps, like that's definitely not what I signed up.
You were fighting a dragon?
I was fighting a dragon with the sword. Yeah, with the sword and stuff.
Monster.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, they're not gonna sing songs, got all the forms, documentation.
Oh, yeah. All those award letters I had to type up, you know.
Day-to-day entry and stuff,
Mhm.
spent hours on it doing your shift.
That's
Wake
the
up, do
majority of the
PT or physical training, and then you spend 2 hours of your day cleaning vehicles and making sure they're in a perfect straight line, and just a lot of
It's busy, a lot of it's busy work.
Yeah.